The Deering Estates is a historical landmark dating back to the 1920s in South Florida. What happens when the top interior designers work their magic in the spaces to benefit a good cause? Well, the 2018 Miami Show House is born.
So the Miami Show House is a project put on by the Junior League of Miami. The Junior League of Miami is an organization made up of women volunteers. We have about 1,000. We partnered with the Deering Estate to put together this fundraiser to help our community projects.
So the Show House is a wonderful collection of 20 interior designers, each of whom take on a specific space within the home. We liked the idea of partnering with a wonderful venue like this that is also so rooted in our community.
Today we have a unique opportunity to explore the residence reinterpreted with modern touches. Come along for an inside look. South Florida is color, texture, lifestyle. It's a vibrant collage of different cultures blended in different ways. This collage is where I work. I'm home decor expert Martin Amato. Let me help you design your lifestyle. Join me as we experience SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. The Miami Show House is a design event where more than 20 of South Florida's most respected and sought-after interior designers transform the Deering Estates' interior and exterior spaces. This creative partnership is held every 2 years by the Junior League of Miami to increase awareness and raise funds for their nonprofit organization to continue their work helping at-risk families in Miami. Let's begin the tour. The Stone House and the Richmond Cottage are part of a 450-acre property that sits along Biscayne Bay. Over 20 of the most sought-after interior designers were selected to transform these homes. Each space contains a fusion of historic and modern design pieces. Hi, it is so good to meet you.
Hi. Likewise.
So here we have Gabrielle and Rosemary with the Junior League of Miami, and here we have Jennifer with the Deering Estate, correct? So here we are with the 2018 Miami Show House. How did all this come about? With the partnership, the collaboration?
Well, the Junior League was looking for a home for our show house, and one of our members partnered with the 100 Ladies of Deering Estate.
Partnering with the Junior League as a women's leadership team at the Deering Estate has been great, that we've been able to have strong women giving back to strong women in our community.
Right, because again, the Deering Estate was already in the process of going through a complete refurbishing of the spaces. So when they approached you, having the top more than 20 interior designers in South Florida wanting to assist you, again, it's like, yes, let's make this happen, right?
It's been a great collaboration throughout the whole process.
I was going to say, because it is a mix of sort of old and new pieces.
Yeah.
Very much.
What had happened was that there was a historic paint color, from the 1980s and 90s, which was not the appropriate historic paint color. So when Benjamin Moore came in with their donation of paint, we used that as an opportunity to reimagine the spaces.
The designers really embraced what they thought that Charles and Marion Deering would have done here in modern day.
So here we are in April. I know the exhibit goes through April 29th.
Correct.
I'm going to go check out the spaces.
Great.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
We begin our tour in the heart of the home, which is the kitchen, located inside the Richmond Cottage, right next to the Stone House.
Hi, I'm Peggy Roberts McMahon. I'm the principal and president of the Design Team, Inc. I worked on the kitchen and the butler's pantry in the Richmond Cottage.
Peggy, so what's amazing to me is that this home has been here for over 100 years, the kitchen, yet you see a lot of design trends that you see nowadays in homes. Talk to me about how the room was before.
The room was pretty much a blank slate. It was being used as a little tea shop. The cabbage cutter, which is a part of the collection, and then this Italian buffet was here, and nothing else.
It's amazing how the icebox is completely hidden as a built-in cabinet as well.
Yes, it took me a little while to figure out that's what it is.
So what was the first step in terms of really transforming the space to what you see now?
A lot of it had to do with research, because obviously I could not make this a 2018 kitchen.
Right.
The kitchens from 1910, from this era, would have been set up exactly this way. This is considered private space in the sense that it's really just for the cook and her staff.
Right. And you were saying you did have some issues with the cabinets because they were not in the best condition, so you did have to refurbish that and really keep it true to the period.
Right. And what we did was we made, you can see the end bracket, which is very similar to what is in the butler's pantry. The butler's pantry was in the worst shape. And so we made templates, we did multiple measurements because each one was handmade, so each one was a little bit different. Finally received approval to jack up the cabinets so you could actually watch the doors fall into the correct position. And then we slipped in the brackets that we made and then gently lowered the doors again and then painted it to match. The azulejo had sat for 2 years on a cart in the curator's offices. And so that was another application that we needed to do to get approval from the county of the method of how we were going to hang this.
Well, thank you again. Beautiful
thank
work.
you.
I'm completely inspired by it.
Oh, good.
And I can't wait to see more.
Well, great. Thank you very much.
Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we continue exploring the remodeled historic homes of the Deering Estate as we experience Miami Show House.
There are a lot of reasons for changing out your sliding glass doors. This family had a bunch of them. We're going to show you the decisions they made on today's SoFlo Home Project.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. Today we get to see how top interior designers in South Florida have reimagined the spaces in the historical Deering Estate. And this is the breakfast room.
I'm Katie Gutierrez, and this is my husband.
Ruben Gutierrez, and we own Era's Design. And our design philosophy is biographical design, which means we design spaces that can read as the individual's biography.
We redesigned the Deering Estate breakfast room, and we're super excited about it because we designed it in a way that really tells a little bit of the story of the history of the Deering Estate.
So Katie and Ruben, this has to be, I think, one of the funnest projects ever?
Ever. It was a
Absolutely.
really great time. It's always fun to work with something historical and breathe a new life into it.
Now this is like so whimsical. I heard you literally glued all this on the chair.
Oh my gosh, we did. It took us.
You did? Really? 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
we
kidding.
really did.
Oh my
we
gosh.
Really did. I have the blisters on my fingers to prove it.
Oh my gosh. So talk to me about how the space looked like before.
So all the lattice that you see on the walls is all original. And since it's so protected, we weren't gonna touch it, paint it, anything. But we really wanted to infuse a lot of color into the space. The whole outside of the building is a vibrant pink, and we really wanted to bring that inside. So without painting, what we did was we brought it into the curtains, which bring a lot of impact of color into the room. We also brought it into the area rug that you see here, also into the chair, and we also made sure that we only used pink shells on the side, so we also included it into that detail as well.
Wow.
This property used to be, before Deering purchased the property, was the Richmond Cottage, which was an inn. This also served as a welcoming place where people would arrive at the property. So that's why we incorporated Mr. Deering's trunk, which has his monogram, and so that's an original piece that he traveled the world with, and we wanted to incorporate that here to bring back a little bit of that Richmond Cottage history.
Once the exhibit is over, what's going to happen with these pieces?
Well, right now they are for sale in the estate. Everything in our room is for sale, and a lot of the other designers have most of their pieces for sale as well. So you can purchase them.
So again, this is the Richmond Cottage. It was already here on the property before the big stone house was built. We have many more spaces to see over there as well, so I'm gonna go check that out. In the meantime, let's see what Tak Renata from Florida Home Improvement Associates has for us today, and I'll meet you over there.
After meeting with this homeowner, it didn't take very long to see why he wanted to make the changes to these sliding glass doors. He was faced with a problem that a lot of homeowners in South Florida are faced with. Is they had the existing doors installed when the home was built, and during Wilma, they were scared from Wilma, so they went and put accordion shutters on. And like we see so many times with homeowners in Florida, now here we are over a decade later, and the doors need to be replaced, and they had already invested the money in the hurricane shutters. So they didn't want to make the same mistake again, so they went with, this time, ordering all new hurricane impact glass. They're going to want to do away with the shutters and get them out of here to bring a little bit more curb appeal to the back of the home. So we went with a 3-panel sliding glass door with the picture windows above, and we're going to change this whole area and get the accordion shutters out of the way. So it's really going to open up the backyard space and make it a lot easier for the family to access their patio area. So there were a lot of things that the homeowner wanted to change about this particular opening in the home. They wanted to go from a bronze frame to a white frame to lighten up the space. And also, they weren't sure what they were going to do on the inside, so it'll go with any cosmetic changes they make on the interior of the home. They wanted to increase their hurricane protection, so they went with a really strong hurricane impact glass. They also wanted to make the home more energy efficiency, so we ordered them the Solar Max technology, which will reflect all the radiant heat away from the home and keep the interior space a lot more comfortable, also saving them a lot of money on their energy bills. They also wanted to keep the cosmetic look of the home, by keeping the picture windows on top of the sliding glass doors. That was important to them, and it caused it to be a little bit more of a difficult installation. And certainly they wanted the doors to open and close a lot better than the doors we took out. So I think everything turned out perfectly for this family, and I know they're going to enjoy living in this space for a long time.
Thank you, Tat. We are now entering the master bedroom used by Mr. Charles Deering in the stone house, and of course, it has one of the best views on the property.
I'm Mike Skolnick.
I'm Angela Colley, and we're with AC Styles Designs, a design company that specializes in both residential and commercial design.
We're here in Charles Deering's master bedroom. Well, we just love this room. I mean, look at the view, the scale.
So tell me, when you first saw the space, how was it? Describe it to me.
It was not as attractive as we see now. The walls were sort of
like a pink color.
And then you were saying that the inspiration came indeed from the area rug because that was here before.
That was here. When everyone comes and they talk about the room, they're just looking at the curvy lines, and then they see the octopus. Oh, is that why the octopus? Okay, I'm seeing it all. They're even referring it to it in the headboard as well. So it just seems to pull everything together, but it's not as though we thought about it. For some odd reason, it sort of came together and it just worked for us.
So Mr. Charles Deering's spirit was basically
It's
guiding
here.
you, right? That's what I always like to say, sort of divine intervention, right?
Exactly.
So now that you mentioned the bed and the headboard.
This is his original bed from Spain, and I understand it had been in storage for 40 years.
Wow, and it's never been on exhibit here at the Deering Estate, so this is the first time that we're actually capturing this on video. And because it almost looks like a mini sofa, you incorporated 2 accent chairs around it,
Correct.
coffee table.
Make it like a nice sitting area.
I was gonna say, absolutely, yeah.
Can you imagine looking out at the vistas in the evening with a glass of wine and then just enjoying the view outside?
And we should say that Angela is the president of the American Society of Interior Designers.
The association is made up of designers and architects and students, industry partners. It's an organization that helps with the legislation, anything that has to do with our design profession.
And now all of us get to appreciate all this beautiful work.
Yes.
That I know you were pivotal in making happen, as well as, of course, the Deering Estate, the Junior League of Miami, and all the top-notch interior designers that have participated as well with the different spaces. Beautiful work, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Next on SoFlo Home Project, the Grand Salon ceiling is not the only impressive thing to see in this historic home. You won't believe the other reimagined spaces on this property. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. We are getting an inside look at the Miami Show House event. It's a partnership between the Junior League of Miami, the Deering Estate, and more than 20 top interior designers that have completely reimagined all the spaces in this historic home. And the best part, it's all for a good cause. We continue our tour on the second level in the stone house, and now this is Mrs. Deering's sitting room. So far, we've explored the Richmond Cottage. This is the oldest building on the property where designers mix modern and historic decor to create some amazing spaces. Now we're in the Stone House. This was the main home of Charles Deering and his family. Right across from Charles' bedroom, we find his lovely wife's own master suite and bath. She also had a ladies' sitting room.
My name is Melida Williams. I own an interior design firm called Melida Williams Interior Design. So we are in Mrs. Deering's sitting room, which is considered the ladies' lounge. Originally, when I walked through the property to be part of the show, this was a room that I was really excited about. So when I was able to do it, I immediately wanted to create sort of a really modern take on what the original use of the room would have been.
And who better to reinterpret this room than Melida, right?
Yes.
I love it. So talk to me about the challenge with this space. Talk to me about the before.
Well, the challenge with working in a historic home all the time is that, you have parameters that, you can't touch this, you have to be careful with a lot of the existing fixtures, existing elements. But the nice thing is that my room, basically we could paint it. It had great architectural features like the windows with the metal framing. It also had a beautiful concrete floor and the beautiful copper doors.
But I want to say that of all the rooms I've seen so far, this really feels the most modern to me and updated. Completely.
Yes.
What historic pieces did you end up keeping in the room?
I did have a marble sculpture, which we see over there, and I did introduce some elements from the collection, like this table.
So you really treated the walls almost like a gallery display, right?
Exactly.
So then the artwork really pops.
Yes, and the artwork was the first thing that I selected for the room. That became the inspiration that also helped me select the different fabrics that I was using in the space, because I really wanted you, as you walked in, to really pull you into the room.
I love the geometric pendant there, right?
I love, just having almost like lighting be an accessory. So as opposed to having a lot of ornamentation throughout, really the light fixtures become like these little jewel pieces throughout the space, and really pull in, tones of the blacks, the brass, something unexpected and really, modern.
Well, thank you again, Melida. I appreciate
you.
seeing your work in person, and I absolutely love it. So we've been giving the viewers a tour of basically the second level here in the Stone House, but we have so many more spaces to see downstairs, really large rooms, which are basically the main living area. So I can't wait to check those out too.
Yeah,
Thank you
very
again.
cool. Thank you.
Charles Deering was also a big art collector, and he would exhibit his collection right here in the Grand Salon.
My name's Elizabeth Gia. My company is called Elizabeth Gia Interiors. So this room was originally called the Ballroom, and it functioned for Charles Deering as an art exhibition space. So I reimagined it as an elegant living room alongside lots of amazing art.
Elizabeth, so as the name implies, Grand Salon, this is a very grand space.
Previously it was named the Ballroom, although art was always exhibited here by Charles Deering and his wife. I chose to name it the Grand Salon because to me it evoked the French grand salons of the turn of the last century.
I love how you say it better than me though, salon. I love it. Well, of course, with the beautiful black and white checkerboard floors.
Yes, yes.
It's just very nostalgic as well.
Exactly, but beautiful for today too. Yes.
So what was the inspiration for the entire design that we see right now?
As we know that Charles Deering collected old masters along with supporting local artists of his day, I wanted to create that formula in this room as well. But I also wanted a seating area because to me it has such a grand fireplace and it just lends itself to sitting, looking at books and enjoying the art.
Being in the Grand Salon, it's one of the first spaces that you see when you first walk into the Stone House. So I think it really sets the tone for what the Miami Show House is all about. Reimagining the spaces for today's living.
Yes, yes.
So again, back in the day, this was a very important space for Mr. Charles Deering, based on the fact that it did sort of house his art collection, correct?
Correct.
It was a beautiful art space for him to enjoy his passions and his interests. That being said, there's another important room which also reflects his love of books, and that's the library.
Right across the hall.
Absolutely, so I can't wait to check that space out as soon as we come back. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we transport you back in time as we visit the library, which is a statement piece in the Deering estate. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. Imagine taking a historic property like the Deering Estate, built in the 1920s, and reimagining the spaces with modern touches. Well, that's exactly what the Miami Show House has been all about. And now we conclude our tour in the library.
My name is Alfredo Brito. My company name is Brito Interiors, and I'm an interior designer. Mostly I do residential. When they told me that I was going to do Charles Deering Library, I got very excited. I love libraries. They're elegant, they're masculine, and those are things that I like to work with.
Okay, Alfredo, so here we are in what I consider to be the blue room, but it did not start off being that way, right?
Actually, it was the little blue room because it was very light blue when I first got here. And the beams were like a brick color. The combination wasn't that exciting at all. And something that I didn't like was the contrast of the bookcases against the light blue. So painting the walls that dark color, which is a historic color from Benjamin Moore.
Right.
That was our sponsor here in the show house.
Yeah.
Then it blends in and it doesn't look that heavy because I wanted the contrast to be with the white, not with the brown.
Well, I mean, the entire space now feels very rich, very masculine.
Decorating a house is fairly easy, but decorating a museum is really hard. There's a trophy of the third regatta in Miami in 1919, and he won first place.
Wow.
So that's what makes me put this boat here.
Yes,
because
and this is from your collection, right?
Yeah, it's from my collection.
Yeah, so it's really the perfect, scale and the piece for that mantle.
I know, it looks like it was made for here.
Yeah, it's like a custom fit.
I wanted also to feel like a coastal feeling. That's why I introduced all these pieces made out of seashells.
Well, everything came together beautifully, Alfredo, so thank you again for showcasing your work with us today on SoFlo Home Project.
My pleasure.
It's beautiful. Like I said, it's how I would imagine him living today.
Right.
in such a beautiful space.
Right.
That was absolutely amazing. Amazing. So much inspiration. You know, it's like stepping back in time, but at the same time current for today's lifestyle. So honestly, every space is so unique that it's hard to choose just one. I think I love them all.
Yeah.
And really, we've seen a few designers today, but there have been more than 20 that have showcased their beautiful work throughout the entire estate.
Yes.
So you'll have to come back and take another tour.
I know. So it literally ends tomorrow. So again, April 29th, you definitely have to pass by and check it out. So what happens once the exhibit is over?
Some of the reimagined things stay. So definitely the paint, donors have donated specific pieces. Some of the finishes will stay.
Okay.
But the Deering Estate loved this experience so much that on an annual basis, we're going to engage a designer in residence to reimagine a single room at a time. And it changed us.
Well, thank you again for coming up with this great event.
Thank you for coming to visit.
Yes.
Thank you again for watching SoFlo Home Project. And remember, you still have time to come down to the Deering Estate and really experience what the Miami Show House is all about. Hours?
11 to 5.
And there you go. See you again next weekend. If you missed any part of this tour or you're looking for more design inspiration, check out previous episodes online at SoFloHomeProject.com. There you can also submit your own design disaster that needs my help. You never know.